Alright, hey everyone, hope you're staying safe and productive. It's your boy Yahya from VR Division. And wow, so many of you, welcome to another live stream. If you can hear me well, please say hi, something. I think you can hear me well. Say you can hear me well. Anyone in the chat, can you say something? Awesome, that's good. Alright guys, welcome again everyone. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. Today we're going to learn how we create cinematics, just like the one you saw in the intro while you was waiting. I'm going to walk you through my process in how I approach creating cinematic projects or cinematic visuals for my projects in Unreal Engine. Let me share the screen with you here. Yes, should be this. Sorry, I'm gonna open this map. Nice. And let me put this on the side. Sorry about my mic. Hello everyone. So if you can't hear me well, it should be better now. Okay, this is a project I've been working on for our Unreal Engine Architectural Masterclass, and right now if we press, let's resize it and press play, sorry about the mic, we get a UI I made with the UMG tool. So let me press play again. There is a cinematic here in the background I made with the sequencer. Event begin, play, start this, and show me the user interface I made for this project. So now let's click play. And perhaps you remember this project. Now it's interactive, so we made some blueprints. If we press space, click on the kitchen for example, we can customize it. And all of this is covered in the masterclass, and there are tutorials coming to the channel also on blueprints, introduction to blueprints, and how to do this. Right? So this is a placeholder for the sofa. There is still nothing, but you will learn the outline, clicking on meshes, and all the good stuff. So this apartment, we're going to create the cinematic for this to showcase, for example, this apartment. Hello, Gugolofo. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Yannick, welcome. Jesse, Tony, Tarek, welcome everyone. This is the bedroom here. There is a very old Mac from Viz People collection. Pretty nice models. My voice is still low. Everyone in the chat, how is my voice? How do I sound? Is it low? Too low? Okay, without further ado, actually before we get started, let me show you from the top what we have here. Can you guys tell me how I sound? Should I speak like this? Can you hear me better now? Not too loudly though. Before we start, real quick, this is the apartment we're doing for our Unreal Engine Masterclass, and this is the upcoming project too. So we have two projects, interiors and exteriors. You will learn how to do all of this from scratch. and we will cover all blueprints, materials, cinematics, interactivity, and whatnot. This is the second project. We will start releasing the videos starting next week. So I just wanted to say this real quick. If you want to get this, you can go to Gumroad/YahyaJasim and get this. While it's an early bird, you can support us make more streams like this, more tutorials on YouTube as well, and you get early access to all the upcoming tutorials and special access, exclusive access too. So that's important. Alright, to get started now, when I want to approach the process of making cinematics inside Unreal Engine, the first thing that is really important to me is the music. And speaking of music, can you guys hear me correctly now? Nice, thank you. So to get music, why the music? If your music is bad, your cinematic is it's going to heavily affect the cinematic video you're doing. Let me also enlarge this. So to create a good cinematic, first you need to find good music. There are so many sources for music out there. Personally, there is a website called Epidemic Sound. I put a link in the description. It's a referral link. It's what I use for almost 2 years now, and it's just as fast as searching for 5 minutes and finding the perfect song. There is many other alternatives, but Epidemic Sound for me it's like the best website ever so far. And this is the website. I go here and I start listening to songs. It recommends, let me show you by the way here, sorry, still new to this. Okay. This morning I think I found this song. I saved it. So I start listening to music. So now I'm gonna, you should be able to hear my PC sound. Can you hear the music here? It's not this one though. So I start search for in the music library they have for something that could look nice in such a project. So I also while I'm searching for music, so I start listening to music and go to the project at the same time and make a cinematic camera. Let's call it cinematic, and let's pilot this camera. Then I go back to the website, put it like slightly low, and I start, does this sound right? You know, in this case definitely not this song. So perhaps something more ambient or something lo-fi. It depends. There is like every project it has its own kind of special music. How can I say? You know what I mean, right? So I think I downloaded one. Let me just try to locate it. Let's save it on the okay. Once we locate the music, which is this one, we can download it in Wave. You can drag music to your Unreal Engine project. In this case, we're going to locate our project, make a new folder, call it sequencers, or something to like tell us about this, to keep everything in one place. Make another folder and call it music. And we can just drag our wave file. And now you can listen to this inside Unreal Engine in the sequencer. In the new folder you make, you call it sequencer or whatever you like. If you right click, go to animation, you will find the level sequence. give it a name, new level sequence, double click, and it will open the sequencer. The sequencer by definition, like if you want to look here real quick, it's a multi-track editor used to create cinematics inside Unreal Engine. So it allows the user to tell stories inside the engine on this editor. This is not the best explanation, but I'm trying. Let me nerd this again. In the sequencer here, in this where we put our tracks, we can click and drag our camera from the word outliner to here, and it will create a camera for us, and the camera cuts track for us where we set this camera. So these two needs to be created, and you can pilot the camera by clicking on this little icon here just to pilot this camera. So while I'm listening to a song, in this case, let's bring our song here. I think I liked it from this part, so the intro was too long. In the sequencer, you can just click and crop the music to wherever you like. So I want it here, for example. And what I love about the sequencer, you can visualize the waveform. So we could start from here. This is the song I chose. Can you guys hear it? It might be too loud, for now at least. You can change the volume from here, or you can make it like start from add keyframes by clicking on these little buttons next to any setting you have. Let's add a keyframe at frame 30, which is in this case 1 second for the song to fade in. Smoking Panda, yo, what's up? You cannot hear the music. No, when I press play here, can you hear the music here? If yes, give me a sign, because it's pretty important that you guys can hear the music from Unreal Engine when I press play. As long as you can hear a little. Let me see if I can boost it from here. Sorry, I'm still new to streaming. Okay. I will perhaps raise it from here. Chris, welcome. Smoking Panda. I landed my Unreal Engine job, still a startup, big company. I hope things go well. That's amazing. That's nice. Congrats, man. The sound is very, very low. That's weird. On my end, I hear it super, super loud. It like hurts my ears, and then on your end, it's not that good. OBS, fix your at least I'll put some background music for you again, so when there is no music, and I will see if there is a fix for this. But no problem, we can skip the music part now then. Welcome everyone. Okay. Let's delete the music then, and let's talk more about sequencer and how can we animate cameras. So I'm gonna press save, and there are multiple ways we can add cameras. We can add the cameras directly from the word outliner, just like we did now. You can add actors to the sequencer here from clicking on drag on track here, the plus. You can add actors from your word, as you can see here, or like folders or shot track, fade track to fade in and out. So there's many things we can do in a sequencer. The second way we can add cameras is going to place actors, cinematic, click on the cinematic camera actor here, while you are still dragging your mouse, press Ctrl. And it will also add it to the viewport and add it automatically to your sequencer. All of you guys are saying the sound is very low. Can I take a second to check how it sounds here? Let me mute my mic for a second. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay, I sound well, at least that's that. The music is slightly low, and about the BC audio, once we play the music from Unreal Engine, we will see what we can do about that. Let's continue here. The second way you can add cameras, we just like pressing and holding Ctrl. Then actually not only cameras, almost any actor you add to your project, like this point light, if you press Ctrl, it will also add it to the sequencer. So this is like to make things faster. Let's add our old camera, which is like this one, cinematic. Once you have a camera, let's click again on pilot. I like to find nice shots in this apartment, and before I actually start doing anything, I at least try to on paper like write a list of where I'm going to start. Like, am I going to start, for example, from the office? In the office, what I am going to show first. So when you think in terms of cinematic content you show to the people, to everyone online, the first 20 seconds like critical. So they need like to be the best, as the best shots possible you can take out of your projects. For cinematics as well, one of the biggest mistakes I see when someone is making a cinematic on their Unreal Engine or architectural project or whatever, they make it too long. Whether the cinematic itself or the shots themselves are way too long. So in fast-paced world like this, they need to be faster. So usually a sweet spot for cinematics is, in our case, like what I've seen working for me, is no more than 90 seconds. So people like would watch it from the start to the end. So basically that's what you want, right? Because you put so much hard work on your project, you work so hard on it, you make it look so good, and when you want to show all the amazing things you've done, just squeeze it so you give a chance to the viewer to watch everything in your cinematic, so you guarantee more minutes watched of your work. So that's a piece of advice. The other one, I will remember it. So let's try and find the best shot possible in this apartment, right? Actually, I wanted to start from something interesting. This Lego house I found online from also these people. I will leave links once I share another video to all where these models came from, like resources, so if you like something you can go and buy it too. I wanted to start the cinematic from something interesting like this Lego house. So now our camera and the sequencer, once you click on your camera actor, you can, it's the same like clicking on it in the word outliner, you will have details here. And what's beautiful about the sequencer, you can access all of these values from the sequencer too. And if you can notice this little plus add icon that changes to yellow, it adds a keyframe from here to your sequencer. So you can also do some animation from here, or at least record keyframes. So in frame 0, for example, now let's set the focal length to, let's see, 50mm lens. And let's see if we can change our camera to full frame DSLR. I like this, you know, full frame. By the way, guys, feel free to ask any questions on the process or anything, so I know like I'm online. Now the little house here is out of focus. To put it in focus in the cinematic camera options details panel, we can go to the focus settings, which is usually sometimes hard to find. Focus settings. The focus method, it's set to manual. You can change it to 3 things. The manual, where you change the focus distance plane. If you click on draw debug, you will see like a plane now that will you know, like this is here where your camera is focusing, right? So it helps you zooming or like setting depth of field shots, the debug plane. So let's try 85. It's easier to set with the plane on, so let's do that again. And let's do, like, I really zoomed in to give sense of scale, so let's go crazy. Not that crazy. See, when you zoom like this, now it's like not physically accurate, I'm gonna say, or realistic. You can break some rules. So in the current aperture here, but I think that's way too aggressive. So don't do that. Let's say this is a nice shot that we like. So I'm gonna do this. To set a keyframe now, we need to set keyframes for the transformation of the camera. We're going to move the camera, let's say, from left to right. To do that, we go here to the transform, and you have location, rotation, and scale. You see these arrows? This will take you from between your keyframes, and in the middle here you have add a new key to the current frame, or it says enter when you have something selected. I didn't know about enter, to be honest. Look at that. Okay. Now we need to set 2 keyframes, one for the location and the rotation. So whether clicking enter or clicking on these little small buttons, you can add a keyframe. Now let's go to where we like our animation to ends, which is, let's say, for now, 4 seconds animation. Since we have 30 frames per second, if we go to every 30 frames, it's 1 second. So let's go to 120, for example, and move our camera a little. But if you move your camera, it might snap back to the old location. In my case here, I have create a keyframe by default. Every time I make a change, which is this guy, yes, add a keyframe for me. Auto keyframe, sorry. This would make it really much faster for me than going all the way to where I want my animation, then moving like the X and Y and Z here sometimes can get really tricky when you have similar shots. So you can make camera animations by moving the camera from point A to point B. To do that, you should be piloting your camera, and then click on this little key here, and then go to wherever you like, point B basically, and it will add 2 keyframes for you, or for where we made changes to the keyframes. If you want to play our animation now, we can go to the start of the timeline, press space, and this is basically how you animate cameras from point A to point B. This is not the best shot. I changed my mind. So let's find a better one. Sometimes I like to create random shots like this. Just I walk around the project, find a shot I like, set point A like this. It's already set for me. If you are moving your camera anywhere and you have your timeline exactly above the keyframes, it's going to override the keyframes for you. So keep that in mind. Let's say we like this shot, right? We go 4 seconds forward and we just try to go somewhere and see how the transition between them. You have noticed now, if you're familiar with animation, you know auto keyframe, Bezier, and this stuff, the linear key and the key interpolation. Right now it's set to cubic auto. If we take a look at the curve editor and select the track we are animating, in this case that's the location and the rotation, you can see how the curve of the animation here, it's starting like super flat and then it's like curving. Here it's the fastest point exactly in the middle, so the animation gets to the fastest speed here in the middle, then it slows down again based on these curves. In 99% of the scenarios, that's not 99, but what you want here is just select all these keyframes and right click, press on linear key interpolation, because this just feels so much better, especially if you're cutting to music, right? So when you see an animation of a cinematic, this is one of the, I think, let's say other mistakes. I don't like this type of animations, especially if you go from shot after shot after shot. It's kind of get boring or like not consistent in the speed. Not when you have all your camera's animation are set to linear, which is keeps like, let me show you here. There is no curve in the animation here. It goes straight from key 1 to key 2, like straight line. There is no curves. So when we press play, you notice the camera animation from in this 4 seconds, it has the exact same animation. It does not start slow, go faster, then slows back again. This just feels nicer to the eye when you have shot after shot after shot after shot. So let's say this is a shot we like, but perhaps not the first shot we're going to start the cinematic with. That's fine. If you find shots that you really like, you can just simply now click on this little nice save button to save your shot, and now if we click search here, it will show it to us in the content browser, and now we have a shot. The best thing you do when you have a shot is making a new folder, call it shots, and this new level sequence, let's call it shot underscore 0.1 for now, then move it to shots. Now you might ask, are we going to create a new sequence now and then create a new camera and then drag it here and like do all of this? Holy shit, that's too much. No. If you click on your shot, press Ctrl W, open this shot, you can just delete the keyframes here and start with this as a template for your next shot. You like this shot? Let's move the camera like this. Let's say change these to linear, right? Nice. Save it, duplicate, come back. The third shot, and so on. So sometimes it's a nice exercise to try to create the best 10 shots in your project. That's it. You can call it a day too. So like before you start a cinematic, you need to plan how many shots you totally need, assuming the average shot is like 3 seconds. Usually 10 to 12 shots maximum is a great way to start approaching the creation of a cinematic of your project. So it's like a process. So far so good, guys. Any questions? Anything that's unclear? Okay. You may have noticed when we clicked on save here and like this shot, if you go to any frame you like, just click save, it will add a thumbnail here for you. So this is also pretty useful when you have many shots and you want like different shots. So this is shot 2, let's set it to this, click save. Shot 1, click save. You can easily see all of your shots, then later when you have a master sequence you can click and drag all of these shots to that master sequence. Sai, my man, no worries buddy, it's my mistake for not tell you guys earlier. Welcome everyone. Okay, so let's say shot 1 is nice, shot 2 we made this pretty quickly, right? Let's say it's nice, let's find somewhere else now, and let's say this shot actually, right? Perhaps we could also like zoom in like this. Okay, we like it. Just delete these keyframes, move 4 seconds. It does not want to move. By the way, if you don't have snapping enabled, it would be even harder. No, it's not harder, it's easier. So this could be the problem. So this shot, it starts here. Now let's think, do we want to move the camera forward? Let's try. We can move the camera forward. And just watch real quick. Do I like this? Perhaps you don't. You can just quickly delete the keyframes. Perhaps you want to move the camera on the left a little and look like this. Let's say that. Yeah, you know what I mean. Press play. This could be better. So I love this workflow because it allows me to experiment a lot with the shots I'm curating and potentially improve on shots that I made earlier, or you know what I mean? It's like pretty intuitive. No, I don't like this shot, perhaps this, or perhaps this, and like animating in. You may want always to change these from like cubic auto to linear. You can do that, by the way, if you go to where it was, to this button here, the default key interpolation, you can put it on linear and you don't have to change them from cubic to linear every time you make a keyframe. So now if we make a new animation, let's enable the auto keyframe. Let's do this. Now you can see our keyframes here are like boom, linear. No stupid auto keyframes anymore. Let me read the chat real quick and I can do it easier from here. Can I? Nope. First, let me say hi to everyone who's watching. Sai, Ticorex, Goklofo, and Tarek. So, question by question. Hey, can't you have more cameras in one shot? Like switch over to another camera. Hey, can't you have more cameras in one shot? Like switching over to another camera, but everything in one shot? Yes, of course you can do that, and that's what we'll be doing later. Doing this, having your just one shot saved as one file is the best way to do it though. And if you want like to learn the best practices, you can, if you open the Epic Games launcher in the Learn tab, there is a sequencer project you can download and see how they made it and how they name their shots and how they organize the folders, the music, the sound effects. It's extremely useful. Yeah, this subway sequencer here. Another question, are you also on Twitch? No, I just YouTube. Perhaps Twitch in future, but I don't see why. I don't know. But for now, YouTube. Without importing you can import your camera animations from 3ds Max. Of course you can do that. When you export with the DataMath exporter, there is an option to import like a whole timeline of all your animations. That's for you, Tariq. Jesse, controlling the camera in Unreal Engine feels clunky when you're trying to make a specific shot motion. That's actually right, especially if you have your camera speed set to a high value. So usually it's set to 4, and you have, perhaps you just noticed, for me it's set to 2, because when it's 4 it's like it's moving too fast, right? So one tip, that's great question there, or like something you said, Jesse, like you brought my attention to this. Reduce your camera speed here, and it will make it so much easier for you to move around your project and perhaps find like very nice shots you're looking for. Another quickie tip, let's say the camera speed at 3, but this is what I want. Perhaps your project is large, right? Or you're going from place to place. If you, while you're holding your mouse button, like the right mouse button, now we're moving fast, right? If you scroll down while you're moving, it would slow down a lot, like this. If we scroll up, it goes faster again, as you can see. So let's say I like this table, automatically I just scroll down, not like this, scroll down, and now we're moving like in a much better way. And the way I move, just by right clicking and the ASDW, Q and E, and with the mouse button scroll. So I like slow down, speed up, slow down. Try to have a project like this and try to move around your project. Like, are you going to find it easy? So actually, like, flying in your project is basically a skill you acquire with time, the more you work inside Unreal Engine editor. I hope that this would help you a little in your projects, Jesse. Like this tip for the scroll down and the camera speed here. Scroll mouse button, I meant. Maybe it's just coming from Max, it feels weird in UE. I think you are with us on Discord, right? If you like, you can export an animation and upload it to Discord, and we can take a look at it and perhaps provide some help. Decorix, I hope I pronounced this right. Yes. So coming back to our conversation, let's say right now you have 3 shots or 5 shots or whatever. What we can do next, or what we are going to do next, is clicking on animation again, make a new level sequence and call this boy master or master sequence. Now when you double click the master sequence, you can simply click and drag shots and place them in your project. And now when we move the playhead, we can like move between shots. And I think it's best if I just create a cheat sheet of all the shortcuts like in the editor. But for example, sorry for I didn't mention this, if you click here on the sequencer and scroll, basically nothing happens. If you press Ctrl and scroll, you will zoom in and out. And if you press Shift instead of Ctrl, you can zoom left and right. If you press Alt, nothing happens. So yeah, Ctrl to and scroll to zoom in and out, Shift and Ctrl to move left and right. Any more questions? So yes, sorry, I'm getting distracted a little. So we have at the end, like when we have all of our shots, we can just simply have the project like this. And let's say what I like this workflow, let's say I didn't like shot 2 to be the next shot, perhaps I want shot 3 instead. I can just move the shots around, and now shot 1, shot 3, and then shot 2, and then like so on. And I believe you guys guessed it, once I have all my shots, I would import the music and then cut the shots on the music. Is there any tutorial about outdoor lighting of yours? Please provide the link. If it's not there, then please make a tutorial about the outdoor lighting. There is a tutorial about the outdoor lighting. There is right now on, if you go to the YouTube channel to playlists, there is Unreal Engine for architectural visualization. It has everything you need to know about exterior lighting. There is a project we're doing in Berlin, like right now, it's work in progress. There is already tutorials on that. Go check it out. And of course, everyone join us on Discord. Alright, so let's make a duplicate. Let's say shot number 4. So simply clicking on the shot, pressing Ctrl W to make a duplicate now. If we open our shot, we will have the same shot 3 duplicate. We can just simply again delete not all the key, you can delete all keyframes, but I like to keep these keyframes at the very beginning because they just also save the settings of the camera. So when you have like different settings you change later, so just make it a habit to delete the keyframes at the end of the animation, then go to frame 0 or where your animation starts. In this case here, -1 for some reason. You see this will start happening. Go to frame 0 and to override our animation, and let's find the shot we like. So let's say this is a shot we like. There is something wrong with the depth of field, you can notice here. That's because we need to change the camera settings in the sequencer. So let's focus on that sofa there. Jesse, I'm glad. Walker Annie, hey Yahya, I'm from Istanbul. Love your work. Salam, my man. Merhaba, nasılsın? I love your city, man, and especially lahmacun. It's my favorite. Thank you so much. Çok teşekkürler. Let's move 4 seconds and then try to find another shot we like. So let's say this shot. I don't think I'm making the best shots now, but in order to demonstrate what other shots we could make. Let's make a duplicate real quick. And let's play. Keep it a habit not to have always the same focal length. Try to change it, try to experiment, try to go to weird angles too. Like, I don't know, perhaps we could do something like this. And before you create an animation, see how it looks. You could also, in the viewport, before you put any keyframe, I added so many keyframes, see if you would like the animation or not. So here's an example, perhaps an animation that is zooming in on these guys. So I would try to replicate that in the viewport without any keying. So I would like scroll down a lot and then like press W. And would I like this? Maybe, but I think the angle is too wide, so we can go back to the camera and like do 35. And okay, this immediately, once we have like the angle like this, like 35, instead of going like back and forth, which is like something we have done a lot so far, we can go from left to right, or from right to left, or we can go like to this angle. So try to find, and this also comes to the process when you are creating your project, like during the production process, you would place some of your assets strategically, like you would place a camera here and like you would later start messing around with these assets. The same, for example, here. When I'm making this scene, I would also have a camera here, and I would sit here and I would like think, what if I place this guy here and this guy here and these guys here, and like perhaps we have two large objects. If we could put small objects, it might break, I don't know, like give some variation to what we have. So making cinematics is a process also, like you think about, let's say at the beginning stages of your project. So you'd like, it's a good idea to imagine what the end result of your project, how it looks like once you have like your cameras and everything set up. So you would build based on that. Like in the V-Ray workflow, for example, we all know we set only one camera we like, so it's the main composition. In this case, let's say like this is your main composition, and you would do your very best to make only this image the best as possible, right, of your project, because this is the first image everyone is going to see. And that's what also makes creating projects inside Unreal Engine a much bigger process, because in Unreal Engine, well, we don't see it from here, we see it from everywhere. In fact, we can just bring the headset, and like I used to have customers who would go under the geometry and like look around, is this optimized enough? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Let me read the chat real quick. Thank you. Oh yeah, Lahmajun baby. Join us on Discord, let's have a chat there. It would be a pleasure. You have 1070 on your PC and you are wondering if you can use ray traced baking without an RTX card. So for Unreal Engine 425 and before, you can just simply download and install Lushuang GPU Lightmass. There is a tutorial on that. For Unreal Engine 426, you need to enable ray tracing just to I don't know exactly what's going on, but like to use its features to build the light. So you can have like a project with ray tracing enabled for the project but completely disabled for the viewport, so you can build the light with the GPU Lightmass. So you don't have like to have ray tracing enabled inside your project for like reflections or the ambient occlusion or whatnot to be able to build the light. I believe you can use your card with no problems. And if you have any problems, since you join us on Discord, feel free to write about them. There is a community, we're trying to help each other there, so welcome. Alright guys, let's find another shot. Let's say this shot, the one with the cover photo. So sometimes, speaking of like again arranging, it's called set dressing, by the way, and one of the best tutorials on set dressing, if we go to Quixel YouTube channel, I highly recommend watching this tutorial by Victor. Yes. Part set dressing, yes. This is a great tutorial about the topic. I wrote it to you in the chat. RTX 3080 with Ryzen. That's a good computer you got there, my man. I'm running 1080 Ti, by the way, on this project here, so good stuff. Any more questions at the moment? Keep watching these tutorials, and the best, like to make these things, you need to try. So just, it's a process. Just keep doing things and you will get to this level in no time, trust me. Or get our masterclass. Let's say this is a nice shot. We were talking about set dressing. Sometimes a project, like so far we only had wide angle shots. We perhaps want a shot where like extremely zoomed in, let's say a lens of 85. Not this lens, I think I have the. You see, sometimes I move around the project, whereas my cinematic camera is here, and I'm trying to change the settings, and because I'm not piloting the camera, so don't forget to pilot the camera when you want to change stuff. I like this shot, let's do this one and then go there. Let's see if it's still nice after the depth of field. Yeah. Not bad. Perhaps from here. Okay, this is a nice shot. Like still life. Kind of. can add keyframes, not to frame 0, -1, sorry. We want to animate the location and the rotation, because if you don't put rotation, then move your keyframes wherever you like. By the way, I forgot to tell you this. And like look around and like move it. There is a keyframe now, but only for the location. So where is the rotation, right? So don't forget to enable the rotation too. So the first keyframe is here, and now it's looking here. So we can change it again from here by right-clicking on this arrow. So 0 here, and then on the rotation you can try multiple angles, which is painful, or you can right-click if you have this enabled and set it where you want to look, which is, let's say, here. And the second shot, move the camera to look on the left. And now if you play the animation again, you have like a camera rotating like this, right? And again, if we have this as cubic auto animation, the auto keyframe, it will like start slow. You know, you see how different it is? I wanna cough. Yes. Again. And what you usually go for. So I also sometimes, perhaps, it could look good this. It could actually look better. So there is no problem experimenting with your keyframe interpolation. Sometimes to move camera from location A to B, it's good to have the transform as linear, but perhaps for the rotation you wanted to do something like this. So let's see how this looks. No. But you maybe want that. Unless I have multiple keyframes here. Do I? No. Still looks so bad. So that's a shot. Let's click save to save it as a thumbnail. Click Ctrl W. Now we have 6 shots. Do we? And let's go to find another new shot. In this case, we were talking about the office here, the key set dressing, how you place stuff and make your image look interesting. It's my pleasure, Ramo. Welcome. You need to be careful when you are placing your playhead, because it must be exactly over the old animations, or you will start having problems like this where there are 2 keyframes overlapping. And let's go to frame 0. Let's go find something nice here. So our camera is selected. We can play with the, let's keep it 85. And I'm trying now to move like, could I like this? If we're like, I'm moving the camera down and like looking up like this. Could this make a nice shot that I can add to my cinematic? So I ask myself these questions. And if I do this shot, is it going to go directly after shot 5? So in this case, you have noticed, right now we're going completely chaotic about our shots, how we go like jumping from room to room, and it would make, if we like put these shots one by one behind each other, it would make your cinematic look inconsistent, right? So you also need to think about how you create your shots. So if you ask me, in my case, I would not do this shot here and go back to that place. So I also try to clear rooms one by one. Clear this room, like then this place, and then this place, if I'm doing like as many shots as possible. So if I'm gonna start this house, for example, let's go to our master sequence here again, and where we have all these shots. And by the way, if you also click Ctrl and then like scroll up or down in the content browser, you can make the thumbnails or the icons, the scale, large or small. So there is no shot here I want to start the cinematic with. Perhaps this is one of the shots I could start with. To view your shots here, if you have multiple tracks, make sure you click on the camera icon here. And this red here means where your timeline ends. So if you want an animation of 300 frames, you can move it to 300 frames. You can also have more cinematic options if you wanna like really, instead of pressing play every time or trying to move these guys around. If you go to perspective here under viewport, and in the viewport type, the default viewport is what we're using right now, which is like the default view we have for our projects, and there is the cinematic viewport, which is useful when you're making cinematics. It gives you extra few buttons. It gives you the option to change the start and the end of your animation, and where is your current frame is. So if you want to jump to frame 60, you can just type here 60. So this is another tip on working with cinematics. If you also want grids and guides to help you compose your shots on the, this is new, once we click switch to the cinematic viewport, you can set composition overlays. There is the grid, 3x3, 2x2, crosshair, and I don't know what this is, rabatment. Need to Google this stuff. And you can have also your safe action frames. So you can have like first one, like where to focus your tiles and the text and whatnot. And of course you can play with them, customize them if needed. Usually I like to have a grid 3x3, and I try, depends really, I try to keep the center. So sorry, for this shot for example, if I could perhaps improve on it. By the way, in the master sequence, when you're whatever is, oh shit, where is my shots? This, sorry. Yeah, when we have the master sequence, we have one shot now, so this is a mistake. Yeah, when you have a master sequence with multiple shots inside, in this case this guy didn't have any, so if we have like all these shots, if you double click any shot, you can edit this shot, so you won't have to open it from here, from the like that little shot we made. So just double click and you have master shot 2, so you can have shots inside shots or actors, and this will help you like really stay organized when you have let's say characters or lights or visual effects like Niagara particles, so you can like separate things. For now, let's remove this. And we were speaking about the guidelines here and how we could potentially improve this shot a little. So I tried mainly to keep the center of attention of my objects, whether in the middle for example, or this line here. So if we click enlarge, I would move my camera slightly to the right. To do that, so right now, by the way, you may have noticed that I can't move my camera. There is nothing I can do, even though I'm piloting my camera. That I think we are not piloting the camera. There is a difference between you view the camera cuts here or the camera. So if you're viewing the camera cuts, you can't move. There is like trying to move, I can't. But if you're piloting the camera, now you can move. So keep that in mind. If you're like going crazy sometimes why it's not moving, it's because of this guy. Putting this plant in the center, so rule of thirds. And there is something, I don't know if it's a viewport bug, but now the focus is not really good. Like we don't see any focus actually. Our scene here looking like super sharp, but it's not, because we have like manual focus distance in front of us, and so this should look like blurry. So sometimes I don't know why this happens, but if we press F11, now we will see the correct depth of field of the camera we have. So this, sometimes you could export a camera that you think it's looking perfectly sharp, but you forget to change the focus method from manual to do not override. Sorry. So be careful with this. There are so many times I exported animations and they're out of focus. Let me read if there are any questions. Decorix, my man, thank you for showing up. I will catch you later on Discord, yes. Muhammad Zanati, welcome. Marhaba habibi. Hey Yahya, how can I download 3ds Max? I can't download free. The educational version of the, if you're a student, it's available for free from the Autodesk official website. Or you can download the trial for 30 days. Go to the official website, check it. I think you're a student. Check it out. Oaken Studio. Look at that. It's our boy. Welcome. Hope you're staying safe, productive. We're doing cinematics today, so just talking cinematics. So everyone, welcome. I had different plans. I really wanted to play the music that I chose for the cinematic, but apparently we can't. So I'm gonna try again, guys. So let me know if you can hear this music correctly. Because, okay, so let me know. So how did that sound? Is it good? Way too low? Because if it's way too low, that's a problem. I don't know how to increase it. Or do I? I don't know. Where's the sound mixer? We used to have a sound mixer, right? Yeah. Everything is looking good. Good sound, right? Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Finally. Open volume. Wait a second, sorry. So if I do this, now I'm going to mute the music in the background and I'm gonna start the music again, and I need to listen to this on my iPad here, so to make sure we can, like, could we continue this and take it to how I do it? So give me a second. Hear the music now from the Unreal Engine. Yes, right? Can you guys hear me now, right? Yeah, it's too loud. Sorry about that. But at least now it's working. So this is the usually like I started this tutorial. Good music means good cinematic. That's how I start working on cinematics. So I'm used to the fact like putting my music here after I create some shots or like just walk around my project. Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Music QE too loud. I'm gonna reduce that more a little. Um, to play the music like this. So this is the beginning of the project. Is it too loud? Is it good? And I like enlarge my screen and like start to walk around. Imagine this is shot number 1 and like try to imagine this as shot 2 and so on. And then I stop after I make multiple shots that I want to start my cinematic with. So when I start, I try to focus on the first 20 seconds, as I said earlier. I just want 20 seconds. If I got a good 20 seconds cinematic, the rest is gonna be easy, like the first 20 seconds. So let me read the chat here. You guys can hear me well now, and the music should sound also well in Unreal Engine, right? Even I'm talking, can you hear us both? Please do let me know. And thank you, all of you, for sticking around, by the way. It's a pleasure to have all of you today. I'm going to cut my music, so one of the things, again, I said earlier about the sequencer, you don't, like, you can have so much control over what you import and what you animate. I'm gonna show you also what I do. When we start our cinematics, if you have seen any on our channel, like one of them in the Frankfurt cinematic, we fade in black and then we get to the first shot. So let's add our first shot. Let's go shot number 1. Let's say this is our first shot. I'm gonna make our first shot now. So could be a general shot. This could be one of the best way to show the project, right? Trying to find place I like. So let's say this. Let's set the rotation to 0 and 0 here. This would be not 180. Try to keep these numbers as correct as possible. So like it would be easy to animate all the values. Now we move 4 seconds forward and you saw me all the way animating with my camera, like moving places. What you can also do the other way, like the normal way, is just, let's say we want to animate our camera on the Y or the X. On the Y axis, moving the camera forward, let's say, and let's see. If we imagine this with the music, will this be too slow, too fast? So we can test, right? So if you go back to the master, we can drag shot number 1. I'm gonna cough. I don't want you to hear the cough, so I feel for your ears. And let's test how this camera speed is with the music. And what I like about the cinematic viewport, that if we click immersive mode by F11, we can have like these controls here. Right. let's disable the depth of field first to all the cameras, at least the start with. So click do not override, and now I keep usually the first 2 to 3 seconds for the logos if there are any. So based on this music, let's see if we can do that. Okay, we could. Could start something like this. And what we can also do, because now it's like starting loud, we can click on this little arrow and go to the volume here and set like the first second here, set it to like 1, and it starts at 0. So if you play again, so it's like fading in. So this. So the animation starts here. This where the first shot should start. So I will tell you why again. So now imagine, but this is too long here. Like this is now we have 4 seconds for the logos and stuff. I try to keep all of this stuff to the end of the video. Like everyone knows your VR division because they're watching this video on your channel. So 2 seconds for that like is enough. VR division, Unreal Engine, let's say, then your project. Here starts the music, and if we add a fade track, so here we start black, press just on the fade track, add it to 1, and whenever you want to fade in from black to what we currently have is just click keyframe, move few seconds or few frames, and then set it to 0. And this could be perhaps auto keyframe, so it's like smoothing in. Cool. You need to be careful, so this needs like when it starts it will be like this and then it will move to the camera. So when you start fading in, you need your camera to be already moving, so we can also start like the fade on the music too. And this shot should, based on this music, if you want to cut it to the music, let's say it should just end here. We could see, of course it's a good idea to listen to the music before you import. Shot 1, shot 2, shot 3, enough, let's say. So here's shot 1, clicking shot 2, and instead of like placing your shots just behind each other on the sequencer here, what I love again about Unreal Engine that we can read the music and then we can divide our shots on where we have like boom or text, so we can easily sync our cinematic to the music, and this makes it really much more interesting. So this one, so I'm gonna put this shot here, and like this shot should end here. It will feel kinda weird when it ends here. So listen. Let me read the chat, by the way. Everything is good, right? Yes. Thank you. You would expect the shot to end here, especially if like in the 6th or the 7th shot. So I don't know if you like really can notice the difference, but let's end the shot here on the boom, or like not boom. Bam. So like these these are your green light button to whether add an effect, introduce something, cut, fade out, fade in, like doing anything based on the music. This is why music is so important when you start working on your cinematic. It's because you need to ask yourself question, how many shots can I have in this music, and how fast their pace is. Can I cut real fast if I want? Can I make like my 15 seconds of like, or 20 seconds of animation like super interesting with, or is gonna be like the music, can I cut every 20 seconds and this will make your shots you know, like not as interesting, or like when we cut. So I like to keep my shots short. It's again, like based on my logic, if more people can watch my 60 seconds animation, all of it, and see everything I care about this project, that I put it in this animation, it's much better for me when I have like 5 minutes animation and people just watch the first 1 minute or 2 minutes where they only see half what I did. So yeah, I think it's really important when we make cinematics that we want it to be like as brief as possible, you know. I'm placing the shots randomly now, by the way. So now once this shot started, could I use this shot, the first shot, to lead to another shot, or should I cut to a different room or different place? So the sequencing of creating the shots, this is like sometimes almost everything starts with the first shot. Sorry. It's because if I look at this shot here and it's a nice shot moving forward, where could I go from here? I'm thinking I could show the sofa in a nice way, or could show this in a nice way, the column here. So instead of ending the shot on this place that has nothing to do with what we see here, if we can you guys see me, by the way? I'm getting errors here. Good. Just make a duplicate. Sometimes if I have so many shots, it's a naming convention for me. Like I say shot 1_1. Like I know this shot comes after this shot, or like this is how I designed it. Because again, I can also simply use this and keep them next to each other. Delete all the keyframes I don't want, and maybe I like this, and I like perhaps moving from down to top, or the opposite. So let's try moving from here to here, and let's see what we can do with the focal length. So let's go here, press F11, find a nice place. This is really helpful. You remember from the grid overlays, right? So it helps us setting our shots. I love this, like part number 1, 2, 3. Could be, why not? So sorry, based on the pace of the music, we could move this like up slightly fast, so we can just go Z and like see what this will look like. Not fast enough. And let's try. So we go back to master here, and let's put this shot here. If you press snap, activate this snapping, like toggle it, it will make it so much easier to snap your shots like next to each other. Everton Brito 60. Welcome. I didn't understand what 60 is. And also try to match the speed of all of your shots. So like if shot 1 is too fast, let's say, keep shot 2 too fast as well. Try not to go from super fast to super slow, or like to keep like consistency on your shots. This shot here could end here, right? Could make a duplicate of it, go all the way up, move it slightly to the left, and then we could like cut. You know what I mean in a second. I just want the camera to skip few frames. So now watch. It should start here, and perhaps more frames so you can know what I mean. here, like bam. So these are effects you can do based on the music you have, but this is obviously too much, so here. And from this shot, could we show something else, let's say? So we could go to the sofa, or we could go to that room now. So I like shots that lead to each other in a way. So we can open this old shot, delete these guys. If you double click, by the way, it will zoom in the whole timeline, like from start to finish, on what you have on the monitor. So let's say this is a nice shot. Let's focus more. Let's set this to 50, let's say. Or yeah, 50. This is the first shot. I'm gonna have, for example, two shots on this sofa, one like this and one more zoomed in. So does this look good? Could be faster, we will see. If you wanna, like, we know now our shots are not longer than like 2 seconds, so now we're animating 4 seconds, by the way, because sometimes in the master sequence here I like to stretch my animation. Perhaps I want it longer, not that longer, but you know what I mean. So if let's open this now. Let's say we want to make it this one faster, no problem. We can click these frames here at the very end and move them to the left where we have our animation. And instead of 4 seconds, let's make it 3 seconds or 2 seconds and a half if we move it to 75. And you may have noticed sometimes it's way too hard for me to move it to 175. I guess sometimes this guy can make some problems. But if you don't want to enable the snap all the time, if you right click on your keyframes, you can set a key time. We can set time for this key, the selected keys, and let's type 75. Boom, easy. The same here, 75. Click save, so we can save a screenshot of what we have here. And you may have noticed this red arrow here. It's because our shot here is overextended in the master sequence. So to get rid of this guy, we need to select our shot and move it to the left where this little red line is, right? And now if you open it, it's almost gone, so we had to snap it. So boom, snapping. Now let's see, let's actually make another shot and call it shot underscore 2 underscore 1, so it can be next to the sofa because it's gonna be another sofa shot. And naming your shots is something you develop on your own, so you could call it shot sofa 1 or shot sofa 2, but it's a good idea to name your shots, like at least give them something you can remember. Because think of it also this way, when you create a cinematic or when you create an Unreal Engine project, because it's real time, it's you can always come back to your project in 6 months, 4 months, whatever, and then make more content out of it for use in social media or portfolio or anything. That's one of the things about designing in real time. You can access your project later at any time and extract whatever media files you want from it. Or perhaps the new GPU light mask is out, let's say, and you would love to rebuild your light. And because if we open my projects like 3 years ago, and now if I just click build light with the new GPU light mask, it would like completely change. And one great example is this house here. If you see this is a project I did 5 years ago. If you see the 5 years ago old version, it's disgusting. I can't find it, but perhaps for the next stream I will show you how this was before and how is it like now. Everything changed. No worries, Everton. Thank you for being here. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far, guys. for this shot here, perhaps, let's say, maybe something like this. It's too ugly, right? Trying to find a nice place to take another shot for the sofa. So like moving with my keyboard keys, slowing the camera a little, going fast a little, and like experimenting. For this particular shot, let's say this, okay? And let's move it a few seconds like this. Let's say we want something special for this shot. In my project here already, I have 2 movable lights that I did not activate. I left them for such circumstances. So I don't know how good the stuff will look from here. It's like adding just a little light on it, so it like slightly be more interesting. So we can animate this. We can tell Unreal Engine, hey, in this shot I want you also to add these 2 point lights I have. Like we have 2 point lights here, this guy and this guy. Let's set them to 0 now, and select these 2 actors, and only in this sequencer file, please set the intensity to something like 2, perhaps 1. See, if we change, if we close the sequencer now, they are back to their old values that were 0. So now if we open our shot here, they are on again. So it's like 1, it was, right? Yes. So that's something handy. So you can like design or change your scene and save these changes to the sequencer, and these changes will be like on only when we render this shot later in game, let's say. And when we move on to another shot like this shot, we don't have lights. If you want the lights from this shot to this shot, you can copy between sequencers. So these 2 spotlights, we just simply click them, press Ctrl Z, go here, Ctrl C, go to the other shot, press Ctrl V, and we have the point lights and their values in our shot here. And of course, what would be cool if we could animate these, and of course we can, right? So for the sake of here, let's say they turn on in 1 second. So from at the frame 30, I want to save 2 keyframes for the value intensity 1, and at frame 0, I want the intensity to be 0. So from 0 to 30, we have a linear key interpolation, and we have a animation of the light intensity, and it's set to linear. Sometimes in these cases, it might look better if it's set to auto, like curve, start slow, then like fast, then slow down. You know, like lights, they don't turn on like real quick. They do, but they would like nicer to the eye, especially in cinematic like this, when they like turn on slowly. So let's see how they look here. We could make it longer. It's not that long, but you get what I mean. So when someone like press light, it takes fraction of a second to turn on. So yeah, in the sequencer you can do all of that. If we change this to linear, I don't see any change. But yeah, any questions, guys, on this so far? Zahi, you're learning animation. That's good. Muhammad, you don't need an RTX card to run to work on Unreal Engine. All of this project from start to finish, and later when I even I want to export RTX animation, ray traced animation, I have 1080 Ti, GTX 1080 Ti. So Unreal Engine, like, it depends on your machine. You can like scale up your project, but you can work with almost not any project, but yeah, you don't need an RTX card, brother. Go ahead, download Unreal Engine, link in the description, give it a try. Easy peasy. Master here. You see, we did these, the modifications of the keyframes here, and now when you can see now the animation of these guys, and now so yeah, you can also add like the music. So let's see. I want the sound of the not to affect, but like I want to sync the light on with this part of the music. So if we double click, if we play this shot now, we can also hear the music. So here, like here where we want to start the light on, which is here, and let's keep it short so we can see now, you know. And let's say here we want to turn it off. Why not? So another key, and let's put it to 0. Let's see how it looks. I mean, why not? Let's move this one here. Oh, you cannot like just like in Adobe Premiere like override shots. Like I want to move this shot here to the track below, but you need to move these to the right, then move it down. Otherwise you can't. I don't know why, but I wish we could. So I think you have a great understanding of creating cinematics now, like the process, the workflow. So making shots, choosing a great music, then cut the shots on this music, and basically that's it, guys. Super easy. When I render my shots, the Unreal Engine, like exporting audio is extremely hard. Let's just say it this way. So when I export my animation, there is this, render this movie to a video. You can export to an AVI file that will contain the sequence here. Oh, Ali! Welcome, my man. It's a pleasure to have you, buddy. It's been a while. Hope you're doing good. So, in the render movie settings here, you can render whether AVI, PNG, image sequence, JPEG, and like you can go so much deep in this stuff. You know, like you must be familiar with virtual production and whatnot. For the simple stuff like visualizing cinematic architectural projects, you can just click an image sequence. Usually JPEG works, and I export my sequence. So let me show you. I need to take a quick bathroom break, guys. So I need you to give me 5 minutes or something. It feels weird. And we will come back to finish part of the cinematic then exported. So just give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna make some coffee, so that's also important. So I will see you guys in a bit. It's been a while. Wow, 1 hour. Okay, give me 2 minutes, so I will give you also a break. So see you in a bit, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. So, where were we? We were making this cinematic here, and we don't need this, nor this. So far, do you guys have any questions? So right now we're gonna chill, finish this cinematic, and answer any of your questions. So there is music in the background, right? Good. If the music in the background affects your experience here, by the way, let me know. Oh. I actually should go in 5 minutes because I just... No, wait. Okay, good. I have 30 minutes. Then we can wrap up today. So questions are open now. Because I'm thankful there is a meeting get cancelled and I thought, oh, glad. So Ali, you still here, my man? Let's finish this. Let's see where we are right now. I don't like it, the cut. Okay. This should end here. And usually, let's try to keep all shots at similar. So let's see. Yeah. Similar length. Right. Also, there is a process I hate about. I don't hate, but it makes you so you need not to spend too much time working or listening to the same song, because off stream I would watch this a million times to make sure it's what I want. You see, making the shots shorter and like more just makes it automatically more interesting to watch, because there is something new every few seconds. I don't want the lights for this, so we can keep them off. We can get rid of them from here. And the same from the second shot. In the second shot I want the lights not as bright, because we don't want to break the consistency. So 0.0 is fine. But the question is this the right shot? Let's say I don't like this shot, no problem. You can just open it, open the camera here, and find a better shot. Just make sure you're piloting the camera. So easy shots sometimes, like slide shots. So we wanted the second shot of this sofa, we can just simply do this, right? So yeah, again, moving in the viewport, finding a shot we like. I think I like this one, and I like it to start from here to the right, from left to right, because I also like this contrast in the picture. So before it was like full black or like too dark, or there is not too many things are interesting are happening right now on the screen. However, if we move just slightly to the left, there is more things interesting. So this shot like this is much better than like this, let's say, even though both are showing the sofa, but this one just have more interesting things to show. So we can do this, for example. Let's move a few seconds forward, right click, then press on W to move to the left. It will add the keyframes automatically for you because we have auto keyframe enabled. And let's see how this one looks. See, this is where we should cut in the music. This is the same shot, no? Okay. So we start living room, look here more, go back to the sofa here, and then we could introduce this here. So how could we introduce this shot? I think, let's see, shot we're not using, let's say shot number 4. If we somehow like just make this slightly visible in whatever next image we're trying to do, if it's like really, I'm trying to look at this plant here from like the last shot I did. In this case it's this sofa, right? So we can do this, like we know the shot ended on the sofa, then we start from the sofa, try to make this in like place where it's like following the rule of thirds, and keep it there as the center of rotation, and just move slightly to the left and keep it like in the center. And let's see how this one looks. Not bad, it's way too slow though. Let's see how it looks in the cinematic. So if you move this shot, save the thumbnail first, move it here, and let's move the playhead to frame 300, so when we click and drag it just automatically go to the frame 300. If you have your playhead anywhere, it will just go to where you have your playhead. So 300 is where we need our animation. We don't want it way too long. We barely need like 1 or 2 seconds. And let's see now. So this is because it's way too slow. It's like it felt out of its place. So this shot could be much faster. Let's see how we make it much faster by moving the keyframes to the left, so it's like the animation is shorter. It feels now more consistent with the camera speed. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to explain again. I'm gonna move these all the way away, like make this animation here super slow. It's just not right. This is too extreme though, but we will need more shots. Now once we introduced this place, this sun and this here, the next familiar shot, for example, to introduce the kitchen to the cinematic, to keep it like consistent, is going to a new shot. Just make a new shot, duplicate it. I'm just getting rid of some shots, old shots I did, and I would look at the kitchen now from here, from like where I at least can show whether this or this. So this is nice shot still. So what if we moved, put it here, move like this. This is extreme, I guess. There is no right and wrong answers when you're making your cinematic. It's a process. I actually one of the like the process. Let's say I end up with 20 shots or 30 shots, much more than I need. What I try to do, or like for example, one of the team members here in VR Division makes a very nice cinematic, but they have also too many shots. Let's say this an example. What we also do, like there is this concept, we say let's battle royale these shots. So we just select the top of the top, like the best shot, and any shot that you're not sure of or like meh, we just like delete it or move it to a different folder. We end up with a folder with only the best shots of this project, let's say, and this what would make your cinematic better. So it's like making it, adding by subscribing. making it better by taking away from it. That's one of the a mindset you can think of. Like, you can make something look better by taking things out of it. In this case might be the camera shots. In other case it might be you maybe just have too much visual clutter in the shot. For example, I don't know about the kitchen for now, but let's say there just might you might have a nice shot, but it might be just way too busy. So what would make this shot slightly nicer, let's say, is just moving or just taking this out of the frame. So keep that also in mind. So yeah, try to think of all of these when I'm creating all my cinematic shots. So let's say we made this shot now, we go back to the master and let's see how our stuff look. It was shot number 5, right? I know this one ends here because of the music. I like the speed in this shot. Shot number 6. Let's pilot the camera. And we could do something like this, general shot. So we can start from this location. We set the keyframes like this. For the location and the rotation on frame 0, move the playhead to 120 and find an interesting camera movement, whether moving forward, left, right, panning, zooming in. It's just you should experiment with your cameras in the sequencer here. It's not really that interesting, and it's kind of make it easier to make your cinematic if you have like shorter shots. It's just how it feels to me. I will wrap up here soon, guys. So let's drag this. Let's see what we got. F11. Yeah, basically that's the process, like rinse and repeat until you have enough shots, enough time that you are satisfied with, that shows your project. What would be my next steps, like to finish this, because I know I have a good music. I won't go more than, let's say, how many shots we need. If we click here, we can show time as seconds instead of frames. I know my cinematic won't be longer than 40 seconds. So at some point, if it's way too much work, or like, you need also to think of places where you could actually have long shots, because having this is cool, it's keeping things interesting, but it's also way too fast for the eye to see. It's like finding the sweet spot in the pace of your cinematic. This music, I love it. The problem with it, as I see now, for example, it's getting just repetitive here, and there is no rest. So this music is good for like a cinematic that is no longer than 30 or 40 seconds. More than that is just way too many shots. So again, to find good music, I would go to Epidemic Sound or Google, or MusicBed is actually a great website, and I see what I can find there, and something that would make me feel good when I'm working on this project, that would also sound good looking at all these different shots here. So the next shots for the final cinematic I'm gonna upload later on the channel would include more shots from here, from the living room. Let's have another walkthrough in this apartment. I will create longer shots similar to this very slow shot to have the user interface in it. So yeah, here we can take more shots. Hey William, it's good to have you here, buddy. And I think the bedroom could also use some shots, and that would be it. Like, again, as I said, don't make your cinematic super long. I think for such a project, we have these shots here, 15 seconds. 15 seconds more, it's enough. Why? Because it would also, like, I'm ready to move on to the next project. Once you like export nice images, a good video, like you're satisfied, you call it a day, then just next project. Keep creating. That's another good tip. Anything else, guys? If you have any questions, that would be the perfect time to ask anything before we go, before we finish, because I don't want to bore you to death with me creating shots, unless you want to see that just for perhaps in the future streams. Let me know what you guys want to see. I like this project. There is something about this project. I did it like 4-5 times for the master class, and I like got this room. Once I make it available to download, it's an Easter egg room, but so far you can see like there is coffee everywhere. And yeah, sometimes it's okay to abandon parts of a project just in order to move on to the next one, because as you guys know, the next project is going to be this bad boy, and it will have like almost anything you can ask for, especially lighting and vegetation. This here is in New York. Even like importing real world GIS data, process it with what creator. So that's what to expect next, guys. I have another announcement. We will start doing live streams on Zoom, like up to 10 people, Unreal Engine completely for beginners and for free. So to have more information about this, join us also on Discord, because I'm gonna make the announcement tonight on how you can sign up. So if you're a complete beginner in Unreal Engine and you wanna learn the engine to visualize your projects, your architectural projects for VR, BC, like just to visualize stuff, you know, this is gonna be for you. It will be an introduction to Unreal Engine in visualizing noise architecture. So I think that would be everything if there are no questions, guys. I have a meeting I should prepare to. I'm glad I didn't forget about it. Time goes so fast. At least I hope there is music. Yeah, there is music. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you, William, Everton, Zahi, everyone, Ali, of course, Ali. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon. And cheers and beers. Bye bye. And now we end it.